Hello aspirants, welcome to PW OnlyIAS. I'm Harpreet Singh with the daily analysis of the Hindu from 22nd of November 2024. Let's begin with today's analysis. So this is the QR code where you can basically find the editorial PDF and the current affair PDF along with the other material that is required for your preparation. So let's begin. The topics that we have taken for today's are artificial intelligence and governance. A very, very important topic. Other topics were basically repeated again and again that were present in the editorial also. So this is something that was very unique and is worth discussion from the perspective of the civil service preparation. Then you have the ICJ, then you have the Megalith, then you have the Orishink, as we say, and ICBM. So these are certain things again related to Russia and the testing of the missiles, because you saw the change in the nuclear doctrine taking place from the side of the Russian Federation because of the permission that was granted by the United States to Ukraine to use long-range missiles against Russia. So we see these testing of the missiles and the names of the missiles to become important for your prelims examination also. Let's begin. Main topics. Topic 1, GS3. Global consensus must face challenges in using AI for governance. Now this topic becomes very important. So we will be seeing this from various dimensions also. Let's see. Firstly, the thing that comes into your mind is, what is artificial intelligence? See, if you have to define artificial intelligence, very in simple words can be, artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are designed to learn, think, solve problems autonomously. Now, what used to happen is, let us go 10 years back. Every software that you come across is basically based on the programming that is done. Now, earlier, what used to be very simple programs used to be there. They used to ask you fill certain forms, you put a data, and then accordingly things used to happen. Those are very simple. They were completely command driven. That means what is they have been programmed for, they will do that only. And whatever softwares were there was simply limited to this perspective. Now what happened after that is, we realized that the concept of artificial intelligence, though it is not a new concept, it was perceived even earlier. When we see about it, it was coined by John McCarthy in 1956. Now assume that it is such an old concept from the perspective of its thinking, but at that time, the development of the software industry, or for that matter, the software concept was not there. It was basically the idea that was coined by him. Now, what it basically means is, supposingly you develop a software. If you talk about machines also, they also have a software inside them, right? Because of which they're working. Now, those softwares are designed or created or coded in such a way that the machine themselves are learning things. They now, based on their learning and the observations, they are able to imitate, or let us say behave like human beings. Why artificial intelligence? Please, intelligence is like what we have is not they will be having a similar intelligence, which is basically an outcome of the learnings that they learn from around the people, around the internet sources they have, or from the people, or what the data has been fed. And over that time, they're using that information, they're trying to make their own decisions. So that means when we as people are able to make decisions, it is based on what intelligence and thinking or rationality that we have. Similarly, the coding has been done in such a way that the code or the program which has been created by the human beings help the machines to over the time learn, study in a way, observe, and then make decisions. So that means they are also mimicking what the intelligence that the humans have. What does that lead to? A concept of artificial intelligence. That is why it says simulation of the human intelligence in machines that are designed to think, learn, and solve problems autonomously. Autonomously means on their own. On their own. Earlier, every command used to be fed from the side of the human, and they used to give a command and then the machines used to work. For example, if you take a car, now you realize that earlier car were manual transmissions were there, then we now at present have automatic transmissions, right? Now you have Teslas. Now you see there are various softwares that are coming, like in case of the Indian companies also, you have ADAS. ADAS basically helps the car to basically move on the right track using the white lines that are present on the roads. But that is again movement from what the simple transmission or the driving used to be to automated stuff. That means the car itself, based on those observations, is judging where the car should move. That is also very simple. That is also again not a complex technology. Supposingly, in the coming time, you will be seeing, let us say you don't have a steering wheel also, and you talk to the machine, okay, car, take me to this location from Lucknow to Delhi. Car itself is moving. and you tell the car, okay, you have to stop at a beautiful place where you have McDonald's and Burger King. So car will automatically stop there. Now see, this is also advanced. Now supposingly, even if the car starts thinking on its own, that is an advanced phase of that. Now we are talking about those. So now these things will come with positives also, and these things will come with negative also. That the machines having an ability to stimulate an intelligence that is similar to that of man. That again, as we see, we have seen so many movies also where positives are there, but negatives are also there, can be dangerous to the human race also. So when we talk about artificial intelligence with respect to India, now see, early days 1960s and 1980s, you see IITs, Indian Institute of Science, basically laid the groundwork that in future there is going to be development in the field of artificial intelligence. So knowledge-based computer systems project was initiated in 1986 that marked the first significant AI program. So that means they, from 80s only, we had focused on, yes, there has to be development because the future is with the AI. So we as people hear about AI in what? In let us say 10 years back, but the people got to know what AI is, but the programs have been going on since the early days. Foundation in 1990s, establishment of CDAC 1988 basically enhanced the supercomputing, indirectly supporting the AI research. Indian software companies began exploring AI from the perspective of the business. Ground growth phase in the 2000s, giants like TCS, Wipro, Infosys basically invested in the AI research program so that they can use the AI, let us say, for their businesses and their growth. Now, acceleration in the 2000s with the Digital India initiative from 2014-15, we see that a lot of emphasis because of global players like Google, Meta, they were already working on the AI. So Indian companies also started working on it. And under the Digital India program, again, the emphasis on AI was also basically laid down. Along with it, we have the NITI Aayog released a national strategy for AI, focusing on economic growth, social inclusion, and leading to rise in AI. So that means the support from the government as well as the research organizations and the NITI Aayog created a platform for investment and work on the AI. Current era 2020s later, AI is now a priority for both the government and the industry because we see whether it is education sector, whether it is agriculture sector, whether it is prediction models. Everything you see that AI is having an importance, whatever software you use, right? From very simple thing, let us say if you are going to Lenskart, they are using AI based on your face. They are telling which which glasses will look good, what can be the changes that can be made, and all those things. So these are basically using AI. So every company, if not using AI now, will basically be behind the others. In the education sector, let us say if you want to get the subjective, let us say you have answers in a civil services. Now MCQs is very easy because the scanners are there and you can get what marks you are getting. But for the subjective or the mains examination, for that also AI is being used. Even PW uses AI for getting your answers evaluated also. So you can free of cost upload your answer on the PW OnlyIAS website and you will get a rough idea what score you can get and what the probable answer should be. So this is again being explored in the sector of education. So that is again very important. Now let's move ahead. If I see from the past aspect of India's transformation in governance due to artificial intelligence, please see. For the last decade, India has emerged as the fifth largest economy and with a government budget tripling in size. Now, over here, citizen centric, digital public infrastructure, all these things do become very, very important. Now, the question will come, what is digital public infrastructure? Please understand. Digital public infrastructure basically means an approach in solving the socio-economic problems by combining minimalistic technology intervention, public private governance, and vibrant market innovation. That means when I talk about digital public infrastructure, that means in order to resolve the issue, socio-economic problems, we are using technology, we are using public-private partnership. Along with it, we are basically exploring the market avenues through which people, government, and the private stakeholders can also benefit. Right? This is digital public infrastructure. Now, key applications of AI in governance. GOV-AI, which is basically known as GOV-AI, that is artificial intelligence in governance. First is data-driven decision making. Now, let us say why it is important. Do you assume that as you see the number of people are increasing, population is increasing, computation of data becomes very easy for respect to, let us say, even minute details have to be fetched. In this particular case, artificial intelligence help us in a very systematic manner to get the data, retrieve the data, and analysis of the data. Over there, data analysis, artificial intelligence is very, very helpful. So we see here, leaping big data analytics for informed policy making, resource allocation, and identifying the aspects. So like example, Aadhaar link welfare program in India uses big data analysis so that you can basically have a targeted approach and a better approach towards policy making and decision making. If we move ahead, second is automation of processes. Now, for example, we see passport seva kendra in our autonomous appointments of scheduling are there. Earlier, what used to be there, if you knew a person from a passport office, only then your number would come in an early, let us say, early appointment will be there. Otherwise, a lot of problems are there. First step was there, let us say it was delegated to TCS, who basically take care of the passport kendra. And TCS has basically implemented in their offices the artificial intelligence where autonomous appointment scheduling is basically taking place and human intervention is minimalistic. That basically not only increases a transparency, but also a systematic manner of handling the issues and it redress the public grievances. So again, automation of processes. Third, personalized citizen services. Now, AI-powered chatbots, for example. Now you see that government websites earlier, they were used to be a query section that you file a complaint. Now, artificial intelligence chatbox, that means you type something, the chat box automatically using the artificial intelligence will reply to you that whatever issues you're facing and help you to direct you to, let us say, whatever website or whatever procedure needs to be. So this is again personalized citizen services. Even the if you see the other companies like even Jio, Airtel, they are also using this service because now what does it help? That can automate also certain services which otherwise would have required certain people being recruited and waste of resources would have happened, right? Next is predictive analysis. Now, please see. Predictive analysis is basically, please understand, a very, very important ingredient. You would have understood something known as extrapolation. What is extrapolation? For example, if I know that the population of India in 2001 was, let us say, 1.02 billion. In 2011 census, it was 1.21 billion. According to certain surveys, it is, let us assume, 140 crore. But do you realize that 140 crore, the figure that we have come, is not an outcome of a detailed and a proper analysis that has been done? Why? Because census is the only comprehensive survey that the people go to the government agents basically go to every houses and take their data. This 140 crore is an outcome of the extrapolated data. Extrapolation means that you have certain data and you assume that if the population is growing at similar rate or even faster, then this will be the population after a few years. Based on that, we have come out to be, let us say, 140 or even 142 crore. So that is why, similarly, please remember, over here, artificial intelligence softwares do help us a lot. Why? See, under normal statistical formulas, you will be seeing that we can predict, let us say, the rate of growth of populations taking place. But there are various other metrics which are very difficult to calculate from the human perspective, like certain climatic changes taking place and certain impact will be there on the population. Let us say poverty is there, let us say inflation is there, impact on, let us say, food availability. All those various metrics are there. That is very difficult for the human being to extrapolate using that. The artificial intelligence software can use them and then give a rough estimate of what the approximate population might be using various metrics. Now, this is known as prediction of certain dimension or aspects. Similarly, this predictive analysis can also be used from the perspective of meteorology. Let us say certain climate changes are taking place, weather changes are taking place, cyclone is coming. Over there, because artificial intelligence works at a very, very fast pace, much faster than what a human mind might currently in computation. So that is why very quick analysis over here, make the use of the artificial intelligence software. That is why we see Indian Meteorological Department uses AI to predict the cyclones. Next, fifth is improved monitoring and evaluation. What does improved monitoring and evaluation means? It basically means, see, that there are a lot of schemes and programs that are going on with respect to the government of India. It is impossible to observe in each and every household, in each and every village or street, what the status is. So what happens is that there are systematic programs, or let us say, if I take the example of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, real-time dashboards are given that, let us say, information even the public can upload that whether something is being done or not done. If a contractor has been given some task, information is retrieved from him, what is the status, and that is shown in what? The dashboard. If the work is not being done, the people can upload the photographs, and that will be basically computed and seen that what the contractor is saying, what the person or the people residing over there as complaining that it is not being done. Automatically, the artificial intelligence software will show the mismatch that is there and basically take the complaint to the required or the stakeholders that are there. And immediate grievance redressal can take place. Now, this is something being implemented in India now. So how is it possible? Because such large amount of data is being created, managed by artificial intelligence. Along with it, quicker and real-time redressal of the issues is also being done. So that is why it is very, very important from the perspective of the governance, where real-time monitoring and evaluation is being done. If we move ahead, sixth, policy and scheme performance. Let us say Arogya Setu, Umang. These are basically by using the policy and scheme performances, enhancing the design effectiveness of the social security programs. Now, artificial intelligence can basically be useful for, let us say, what all coverage has been done with respect to the schemes updation, as we have seen in the previous function also with dashboard updation. Similarly, do you realize that when COVID was going on, hotspot identification, targeted aspects, whether the people have been given the vaccinations or not, analysis of that large amount of data is not humanly possible. That was done by the artificial intelligence softwares. So that is why it becomes very important over here. If we go with the aspect of economic sector, improving livelihood in agriculture, fisheries, and animal husbandry. Economic aspect, the companies which are involved in artificial intelligence, supply of artificial intelligence softwares are doing very, very well. If you see the war or the fight between or among the IT giants in the future is going to be who has better AI softwares, right? Because the traditional software systems that used to be simply on the basis of, let us say, certain program being certain data being input, some programs being coded, were very simple. Those are not, that time has gone now. It is about how strong the artificial intelligence network or the programming of the various companies are. So that is why we need to realize that if the Indian companies lag behind, they will face issues. If they do well, that will be an economic resource, because all the websites in the future are going to be artificial intelligence based. First. Second, from the perspective of the various sectors that are there, like agriculture, industry, they all need artificial intelligence softwares. So their growth and development, that means the development of those sectors, will also be dependent upon artificial intelligence software, because they're going to guide them in what to do and what not to do. For example, we know that climate change is a reality. Now, if the agriculture sector is concerned, supposingly you are planting some crops, right? And the meteorological department using the AI software predicts that there is going to be certain, let us say, rain or hailstorm, then you are better prepared to deal with that. Otherwise, what will happen? You will occur losses of massive scale. In that particular case, the small landholders and the medium, and those are the ones who suffer the most. That is why that can lead to their poverty. So that means protection from those economic losses, and obviously from the aspect of business also, AI becomes important. So that is why we say economic sector. Language translation. Now, this is something very, very important. See, eSanjeevani app provides multilingual interface to enable assisted teleconsultations. See, this is basically present in Apple has been using, even Google, Android has been using this. What is basically present over there is, see, today's time, when you basically type something, then automatically the language converts into some other language. Now, real-time conversion of the languages is some translation of the languages, something that is coming up using the AI. Let's say I'm speaking in English, and the software in my mobile phone is listening to it. When with the immediate effect, it is translating to some other language with whom I'm talking to, who doesn't understand, let us say, my language. Now, that is the best use of AI from the perspective of the people who are traveling also in particular. Because earlier what used to be, there used to be translators sitting there and who might very often misinterpret of what was being said. So here, this again becomes very, very important. This becomes particularly important when you're talking to, let us say, bureaucrats or doctors who are not of your place, who do not understand your language. Very often you see IAS officers are from one state posted in some other state. Takes some time for them to also to learn the language. In other cases, let us say you're talking to a doctor. Supposingly you are some person from some village who doesn't understand the language of the particular doctor is speaking. And that gap will basically create issues in what the problem that person is facing. So over there, these softwares can be of a lot of use. So that is why, again, important, as I mentioned. Three drivers of GOV that means governance in AI, is being basically boosted because of three major dimensions. First is rapid digitalization. Now you will be seeing that India is the most connected and digitalized country with an internet user base rising from 90 crore to 120 crore by 2026. By 2026, you imagine that 120 crore will be in the gamut of your internet connectivity. Government-led digital initiatives have catalyzed over 1 lakh startups, especially in the fintech space. GOV is further enhance the India AI ecosystem. Next is that first is rapid digitalization. Second, data as a foundation for AI. And third, efficiency as a political goal. Now see, if I see the second point, data as a foundation of AI, we can see that India has become one of the largest data repositories of digitalization and the DPI initiatives. Government, as custodian of the vast personal and non-personal data, can leverage data to train high-quality AI models. India Datasets Program. Now you will be seeing that DPI programs. India Datasets Program will provide the foundation for government-led AI models which adhering to the personal data protection. Small language model interacting with large language models, we have already studied that. So what is happening? What is it saying? When we're talking about data as the foundation of AI, artificial intelligence basically has roots from the learning that it has done from the data that is provided to that, and then using its software, they try to interpret it. Now, India is one country where you know that every resident over here has an Aadhaar card. And detail of every individual is also there. So now this can be a very useful means through which AI models can be tested, and it can be very useful to leverage them from not from a merely a commercial purpose, but also from the aspects of social security network. So that is why this is a major aspect, because data is there, because large country is there, and we have basically made it mandatory for every resident to have an Aadhaar card. So we have a data of every individual. Efficiency as a political goal, you would have realized that with the goal of the government also to have a maximum governance and minimum with the minimal resources. Over here, AI can be of a major use. That is why when we say efficiency, proper utilization of the resources, that means with the minimum resources you gain out maximum gain. That can be in concurrence with the goal of what the AI is. So that is why again a political goal has been there with respect to this mechanism where AI can be very, very useful. So these are the major three dimensions. Let us move ahead. Challenges. What are the challenges? Please understand there is data privacy and security. You would have seen till now that a lot of cyber frauds are taking place. Even the Home Ministry, even the Intelligence Bureau had basically stated that the billions of dollars of losses are taking place every year because of the various websites, even the government websites being hacked and data being leaked. Now, when data being leaked is a concern, then automatically the artificial intelligence software or the data gathering, which we talk about from the side of the government, is also a point of concern, because we said data is the foundation for the AI. If the data is leaked, the trust of the people with respect to the government also fails. That is why we say it is very important to resolve this issue. Digital divide. Now, you will be seeing that even today, large number of people do not even have smartphones. Leave alone AI. Large network of people do not have access to internet. So when we're talking about targeted audience with respect to farmers, agriculturalists, and the poor sections, they do not have access to internet. So what benefit they will gain out of AI? Currently, at least. In later time, yes, but not now. When we talk about skill gap, lack of technical expertise among the government personnel hinders the effectiveness of the AI, because we see that very antiquated mechanisms or an old set of framework of various employees are there who refrain from using the AI softwares. And that is why the implementation issues come. So that is one of the issues. Cost of implementation. We realize that AI, again, though technologically is very advanced, it is very, very expensive. Because why? Certain companies who are basically working with respect to the AI softwares have a monopoly. Now they want to gain maximum out of it, because after a few years every company is going to manufacture AI softwares and going to use it. But right now they are gaining a benefit out of it. That is why it is quite expensive, quite time taking, quite consuming, because not only the cost of the creation of the softwares, or you're buying it then also, but also the infrastructure associated with it. It is very important, because see, when you buy a software also, you need to have servers, data storage, along with it, maintenance, all that also cost a lot. Let's move ahead. Government initiatives for integrating AI in the governance. Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, GPAI. Now, India has joined this in 2020 to establish a framework for the AI. Now, India is also one of the chair of the GPAI. Declaration of Digital Public Infrastructure AI Data for Government. Now, this is basically done by the trio, that is India, Brazil, and South Africa, which are going to work together for, let us say, collaboration with respect to the field of artificial intelligence. India AI Mission, there is a Government of India program with which has been allocated 10,372 crore rupees for next 5 years in order to basically create an ideal platform for the aspect of artificial intelligence boosting in India. AI for All is a self-learning online program designed to raise the public awareness about the artificial intelligence. India AI Innovation Centers. Now, these are centers undertake the development and deployment of indigenous large-scale models, and because of the data that we have in India, those are implemented, those are tested, and how they can be leveraged in the future as a means of not only economic gain, but also creating those models which can be as models for the other countries also to follow. Smart City Mission. Under the Smart City Mission, AI is being used to enhance the urban governance through smart traffic management, waste management, and along with it, surveillance and the quality of life enhancement. So this is again a very, very important aspect. Now, let us move to the prelims topics. Topic 1, GS2, International Court of Justice. Now, the topic was there. So what is important over here is International Court of Justice was established in June 1945 with a charter of the United Nations, following the decades of international conflicts in the two wars. Now, location is, it is seated at the Peace Palace at Hague, that is the Netherlands. Judges, the International Court of Justice has a total strength of 15 judges who are appointed for a period of 9 years. And they, through separate and simultaneous election, which is held at the United Nations General Assembly and United Nations Security Council. So that means approval from both of them is required for a judge to be appointed to the International Court of Justice. They are appointed for a tenure of 9 years, and the strength is 15 judges. Next, however, ad hoc judges are sometimes appointed that require specialized knowledge, because those judges appointed who are 15 in number might lack the specialized knowledge, where these ad hoc judges come and play an important role. Next is jurisdictional power. Advisory jurisdiction, it relates to the jurisdiction of the courts providing legal opinions. Then jurisdiction in contention cases, that involves setting disputes between the countries and the major issues across the globe. So over there also they can play an important role. Now, this is again basically sum up of what we had run. Establishment in 1945, location Hague, function resolve the disputes on the international law, including sovereignty, boundaries, and human rights. Composition consists of 15 judges, integral part of the United Nations system, contributing to peaceful solution of the international conflicts. So what we had seen in the previous page, this is a sum up, right? Okay, let's move ahead. Challenges: no enforcement power. The UN Charter authorizes the United Nations Security Council to enforce the court decision. Now, the enforcement of the decisions of the International Court of Justice lies with the United Nations Security Council. If they do not, then it has no value. Non-participation of powerful members. In the proceeding instituted Ukraine by Ukraine against Russia in 22, latter refused to advance the submissions. We realize that many powers do not agree to what the decision of the International Court of Justice is. Similarly, as we see with respect to Russia also, when Ukraine and Russian conflict are going on, this International Court of Justice has summoned Russia also, but they are least concerned about it. So no one can do anything, because Russia is also a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. So anything that goes against them, they will not let any judgment of the International Court of Justice being implemented. So slow and bureaucratic procedures. Again, we realize that any problem that happens across the world with respect to human rights, let us say if you see Middle Eastern issues going on, Ukrainian and Russian war is going on, is any action being taken against the stakeholders who are involved in that? No. The thing over here is, because the charter itself says that the members of the United Nations Security Councils are the one who have to implement the order of the International Court of Justice. When the members of the International Security Council themselves are involved in a conflict, then automatically having a veto power that does not allow the judgments to be implemented. So that is what is a point of concern when we see in this case. So the important is to separate it from the normal court proceedings, separate it from the United Nations Security Councils. So that means they can individually implemented rather than being dependent upon the United Nations Security Council. Next is topic 2, GS1, page 3, rock cut footprints of the figurine that is basically found in megalithic period in Kerala, Kahirapoil. So now this is again 2000 years old footprint that has been found. Now please understand what are megaliths. In prehistoric art, a megalith is a large, often undressed stone that has been used in construction of various Neolithic, Chalcolithic bronze monuments during this period. These are also known as petroforms. These monuments consist of one stone, that is menhir. Megalith documents consist of number of stones. Megalithic period in India is believed between 1500 BC to 2080. Now this is something that is written on the board. Now, but understand. Have you seen something to understand the concept? Because this is just a discovery that has taken place. From the perspective of civil services mains also, you need to know the concept. From the perspective of prelims, the discovery is there. That is important. When I talk about a megalithic period, please understand the word mega and lithic is there. See here. Mega means large. Lith means stone. Right? Megaliths. Now, what is going on generally happens if you go to Deccan Plateau regions and southern India particularly, you will be seeing that if somebody used to die, they used to place the body or bury the body, and along with them, they used to put stones, large rocks or pillars of stones. Now, these things are very common in the tribal regions and very often observed in the region of your Deccan Plateau on the southern India. So, the word, because large stones were placed, so what used to be? It used to be assumed from megalith, large stones. Now, please remember, it doesn't mean that it is only for the burial purposes. Very often, certain rituals used to take place for that purpose also. Certain stones could be placed around, but majorly it was related to the burials. Now, one would say that the Kerala, state of Kerala is being mentioned. Is it mentioned only in the Deccan Plateau region? No. Please understand, across the world, even if you go to London also, where ancient huge rock slabs are present there. If you go to even Egypt also, over there also certain slabs are mentioned. This is apart from the pyramids I'm talking about. If you go to the regions of South America, you will still find similar form of structures. That means there is a common linking line that used to be there with respect to these burial practices that used to take place. Now, please remember, if I come to India again, in India also, these stones being placed along the burial places was a very common practice. It is not limited to the Deccan Plateau. It is also present in northeastern region, other parts of the north, even in the Jammu Kashmir region. Also, you'll find these evidences. But again, larger number are found in the Deccan Plateau region and the southern region, and in certain large number also in the regions of Meghalaya, Tripura also it have been found. In India, the phase of the megalithic period basically overlaps with the Iron Age. So that means when iron started being utilized or used as a resource, it overlaps with the megalithic period. So that is why when we talk about the Indian archaeology, we generally observe that the megalithic period overlaps with the period of Iron Age. So that is something that you should be knowing and aware of. As we move ahead, hit Ukraine with new mid-range ballistic missile. Putin says GS2 GS3, topic 3. Now please understand, there is one, when we talk about this new mid-range ballistic missile, there is this word mentioned over here, the name of the missile. Please understand, details about this missile are not clear right now. We do not know. So what is available? That is why we are mentioning that this can be asked as one word in your prelims. The name is Oreshnik. It is an intermediate range ballistic missile, place of origin Russia, currently being tested by Russia. So that means during the Russia-Ukraine war right now. Warhead can be nuclear or conventional. Mach 10, that means a very fast speed. You can just imagine the speed at which it is going, 12,300 kilometers per hour. And this is again a very fast speed, that is in a simple word can be seen as hypersonic. That means much more than 5 Mach. So it is a hypersonic missile. Clear? So this is something you should be knowing. Next is topic 4, GS2, page 16. Russia launched ICBM for the first time. Now this ICBM refers to intercontinental ballistic missile. That means very long range missiles. Now this is not this is something this has been said by Ukraine, because the permission granted to Ukraine by the United States to use long-range missiles against Russia. Russia is testing its ICBM also. So now this is said by Russia that they are ready in case any conflict occurs. So that is why now Ukraine says that, see, Russia has used or trying or testing the ICBM. So what is ICBM? Intercontinental ballistic missile. ICBM is a missile with a minimum range of 5,500 kilometers, primarily designed for a nuclear weapon delivery. That means having a warhead with a nuclear material inside it in order to cause vast or large scale problems, or let us say destruction. Conventional, chemical, biological weapons can also be delivered effectively, but have never been deployed on ICBMs. Countries that have ICBM: India, Russia, US, North Korea, China, Israel, and the United Kingdom and France. These are the countries which have ICBMs. ICBMs are differentiated by greater range and the speeds from the other ballistic missiles. Short and the medium range ballistic missiles are known as collectively as a theater ballistic missiles. So these are very long range missiles. Clear? Okay. Agni 5 is India's first intercontinental ballistic missile with a range of 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers, brings the entire Asia Pacific in under its gamut, right? Now let's see the MCQs with explanation. Question 1, options, answer, explanation. Question 2, options, answer with explanation. Question 3, options, answers with explanation. Question 4, with options, answers and explanations. Question 5, options, answers with explanations. So this was the analysis of the Hindu from my side. Hope you liked it, enjoyed it, and learned something out of it. Keep learning, keep revising, and keep enjoying this journey for the civil services examination, which requires consistency from your side and giving your best. God bless, take care, and Jai Hind.